Everybody, welcome back to Kai and Lisa, where we read RPG horror stories every single week, and once a month we are starting a conspiracy. Gotta catch my breath. I got a cat in front of me. I got the story in front of me. So let's get to it. This one was given permission to be read by Art Monso. A campaign where everyone is crippled from the start, some more than others. DMPC babysitter and sexy goblins. Nope. About a year ago, I joined a Pathfinder server, hoping to find a game like a Mythic Kingmaker campaign. The server felt very active, so I checked out some of the other games being offered. I saw someone was planning to run a World War I style fantasy game, and I showed my interest in joining. It was already full, but the dungeon master, let's call him Red, noticed and mentioned he had another game trying to get started, and asked if I wanted to join. I said yes. This is how most RPG horror stories start. The main plot is that the party had been summoned by a demigod of mercy working under one of the main gods in the Pathfinder world. Each of us has a sin from our past, and we are seeking to atone for it by completing a quest. I rolled up a human gunslinger / holy gun paladin, who used to be a bandit and a slaver. After meeting the love of his life, he retired, got married, and tried to turn over a new leaf. But the past always comes back. An ex-slave finds him and kills his family. Damn. That's a hard-hitting backstory. Very interesting, though. An evil person turned good just for his past deeds to come back and destroy his life. A lot of people may have their characters where they're trying to, go off the person who did that to them, but instead, Art Monso made it so that now he's trying to atone, praying for guidance, which comes in the form of a magic gun and a list of sinners. That's cool. The list of sinners part is cool. The DM approved my character sheet and backstory, and provided a consent form during session 0, which went smoothly. What was on the consent form? Because that's what I'd be worried about, a consent form? A little bit weird to have a consent form. Which went smoothly. Sounds great. Let's see if you spot the red flags as I did. The first session involved me and 4 other players from his usual game, a monk/fighter, a half-elf alchemist, a goblin oracle, and a dwarf A dwarf wizard. I don't know why that turned into a tongue twister for me. Each of us was introduced individually entering the city, where the demigod was waiting. There was a small combat encounter with simple bandits or thieves. When it was my turn, I faced gnolls threatening a girl. She begged me to help her get over the wall in an alleyway we were in, as the gnolls were going to violate me? I did, then mentioned the temple before putting an X card on the table, as that was on my list. Red said he misphrased and was trying to imply the gnolls would turn her into a monster for the mother of monsters. That kind of violation. I warned the gnolls not to try, but they laughed at me and seemed intent on murdering me, too. I pulled out my magic gun. Since we were around level 9, I used multi-attack, ranged smite, and dead shot. Within 2 rounds, all the gnolls were dead. Okay, I have played Pathfinder 2e once. And honestly, it was one of the worst experiences I had. My boyfriend doesn't think so. He liked it, but the person who was doing it, every single combat was them doing 3 attacks on us over and over again until we were practically dead. And it was just really difficult to enjoy something like that because, that's part of Pathfinder, but I know that it just seems a little unfair to... I'm pretty sure that they actually made, characters or NPCs that were based on like anime characters, and those were some of the people we had to go with. I think we started in a cold area and were attacked by wolves, and we died because every turn was an attack. Like attack, but we were level 1, I believe. I don't know. Anyways, let's just go back to this. Within 2 rounds, all the gnolls were dead. We then arrived at the temple, where the demigod spoke on behalf of the gods, informing us that a powerful entity of sin had broken free from the underworld and needed to be stopped. Angels are ineffective, so they are actively throwing people seeking atonement into it. Before we could really interact as a group, we were told to go into a confession booth to be assigned the Trial of Atonement. Okay, these are kind of interesting. When completed, we would be freed of all guilt and able to choose our afterlife. If we failed, our characters would be stuck in limbo forever. This is interesting. Yes, this is interesting. One by one, we each went into a private Discord channel and all came out mostly unchanged. The dwarf wizard was smaller than when he started. When it was my turn, he asked for my confession, referenced my backstory, and told me I was a liar for not revealing my real sin. Shh. Who's shellin'? Has taken note that I have gunned down criminals who could have become great artists, thereby bringing beauty and peace to the world. Not trying hard enough to talk down the gnolls and get into violence, I also killed a girl as the wall I helped her jump over due to rocky terrain and buildings being stacked on top of each other. The girl went over the wall and dropped 8 stories into an open sewer, where the woman broke every single bone in her body and drowned. What? So my task was to complete the mission without ranged weapons at all, which is the whole point of their character. On top of withdrawing his faith to null my paladin levels. No. What? My character's pointer and middle finger were removed to avoid temptation. In addition, the ghost of the girl was following me for the rest of the game. Okay, it was cool until then. After the one-on-ones, the demigod told the party that a cult dedicated to the entity of sin was just a few villages away, and then set out. The game quickly ended with a former gunslinging paladin asking what tasks they were assigned, only for the demigod to suddenly appear and tell everyone that the tasks are secret and will lead to damnation if someone finds out each other's. What? Or announcing that the demigod will be part of the party, so no one breaks the rules of the gods. Aww, DMPC. Messaged the DM to talk and said he has time in a few days, which I used to talk to the other players. I have to do some convincing to discuss the holy tasks, as, from the wording of the DM, it was only in-game. Each player received a lighter penalty. The alchemist for being an alcoholic and ignoring his family until they left and died on the road by flood. He can't drink alcohol at all. No, it does not affect his mutagens, bombs, and spells. The Oracle, for being too indecisive with his duties and causing the death of his clan, will have their curse/boons randomized every session. The Wizard got expelled from school for fireballing his whole class, so he is now small-sized to fit his short temper. Okay, all of them are kind of funny. Or, like, good, but the main, like, OPs was... Ugh. Yeah, that's on a whole nother level. Fighter/monk was interesting, as a vet of Red's games made a character that was good at improvised combat right from the start. He explained how he did well enough in the combat test part of the intro, and using Demigod Confessional baited the DM into making his task that he can't use proper weapons, excluding monks, as most of them are technically farm tools. He told me Red was always scared of combat min-maxers and would nerf them to the ground when spotted. He suggested that I just get my character killed somehow and take the 2 to 3 level penalty. Why would you would get a penalty for having to remake a character? Is that a normal thing in Pathfinder? During my one-on-one with the DM, I initiated a discussion about a crossline involving gnolls wanting to perform SA on a girl. Red apologized if I felt uncomfortable and mentioned that the consent sheets averaged out to yellow on that topic. I clarified how this isn't how the line and veil sheets should work, and that kind of content wouldn't be acceptable for me, and shared that I am ace like I did during session 0. Red responded by saying the campaign would involve dark themes of sin, including sexual ones, and warned that if I had to use the X card often, it might not be the right campaign for me. I raised concerns about my character being nerfed, effectively rendering it an NPC without character levels. Red explained that the campaign focuses on roleplay with light combat and implied that any issues were due to my min-maxing. What? When I questioned whether he reviewed my character sheet or background before approval, he admitted he hadn't. Due to being late with game prep for another game, he then offered me the option to create a new character 3 levels below. I still don't think that is right, which I found too harsh and suggested a milder penalty similar to what the other players experienced. Red felt it was inappropriate to discuss such matters behind his back and implied this campaign might not be suitable for me if I continue acting in this manner. Later that day, I received a Discord message from a player of the World War I game, warning me about its railroaded structure, poorly balanced encounters, and hypersexualized goblin DNPCs. I shared this with the group and decided I was no longer interested in participating in that game either. Also taking the opportunity to advise on proper safety tool usage. What? Oh. In response, Red assaulted me after deleting the screenshots. F you, sex-negative incel brat, was all I had to read before I blocked him mid-rant, left the server, and reported the behavior. TLDR, invited to a site game involving atoning for characters' past sins. Get my character crippled for being too powerful / DM laziness, and talked down to for asking other players about their penalties. Find out his other game has issues too. Edit 1, part of the sentence got cut off during editing. Edit 2, saw the fight in the comments and no, as an ace person, I don't think all sex is SA. I understand what consent is. Yes, I was in shock when this happened. What is this fight that they're talking about? I'm trying to see what they're talking about. A fight in the comments? What does Ace have to do with not being okay with SA? I've had an Ace player that took offense to another character having an entirely off-screen relationship with an NPC. Okay, so this is the comments. I just wanted to clarify that. There was no sex described in any way, just the understanding that it happened, seeing as they had a kid after a couple of years. Ace can often mean, I don't like it, but it's cool if you do. It can also mean, the thought of it disgusts me immediately, never even allude to it. Exactly my point. It's like OP is equating sex with SA, and that's super effed up. I think it's more that OP mentioned being ace and being uncomfortable with sex, and that SA was a trigger already discussed beforehand. It kind of sounds like they called ace out as a reaction to me. I think this is a bit of a nitpick. It's obvious the DM didn't respect things. I clarified that kind of content wouldn't be acceptable for me and shared that I am ace. Like I did during Session 0. Nah, OP thinks SA and sex are the same thing. Except there is no proof that OP thinks this, because OP never literally said so. At worst, they made one awkward statement that can be interpreted this way. It's also possible that OP meant something like mentions of SA wouldn't be a trigger for me if I weren't triggered by all mentions of... So, that must be that thing? It wasn't as bad as I thought it was gonna be. I thought it was gonna be more of a really big fight, but eh. This one is kind of bad. The whole thing, like, all of them had normal little effects. You know, can't drink alcohol. His curse / boons would be randomized, which I like randomization, so I actually would have liked that. And I still think that he is now small size to fit his short temper was hilarious. But then OP's whole crippling was horrible. Like, anyways, let me know what you think down in the comments. And if you like this video, please like and subscribe. And if you would like to help me out and help this channel out, I do have an Etsy down in the description. I also have a Patreon if you would like to help financially. Which with the Patreon you do get access to a Discord where I am in, so you can actually talk to me and to other people that watch me. And I do have a Twitch, so if you want to watch Alien Rogue Incursion each week until I'm done, which just know I have been horrible at that game so far, then follow my Twitch. That's... I think... Oh, I do have some Amazon affiliate links too in the comments. Just wanted to let y'all know. Once again, please like, comment, and subscribe if you enjoyed this, and I'll see you next time. Bye!